Each month, Annie and I host a deeper dive, which is a live Q&A with an expert in the field of lactation, business, or personal development. The following snippet is from our most recent deeper dive. We hope you enjoy.
Well, hey there, Leah.
Hey, Annie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excited because one of our favorite people here is here to give us a case study, which I'm so excited. And the energy is just amazing. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. We've had Nichelle. I don't know how many deeper dives you've been on by at this point, but they've all been good. You've done deeper dives about pumping. You did one about about planning.
Yes.
That was really fun. You did one that was just about like your private practice and all of that. Like you just are such an expert on so many things, but you're also so much fun. And a little bird told me that the little bird beating me telling myself that we're going to be relaunching your push and pee pump parts and flanges course this summer with a whole bunch of new content. So more
Thank goodness,
Nichelle,
because
all the
the amount
Nichelle.
of all the things out in the universe, I'm so glad that your brain is keeping up with it because my goodness, I feel like every other time I turn around and there's like another thing I got to figure out how it works.
I'm telling you.
I so appreciate your class.
So like in all of that, like being this like business expert, clinical expert, all of the things that you are the expert in, we aren't even going to talk about like you being in grad school and just rocking that all over the place. You also love multiples, working with multiples, which is like, okay, let me take a job that's hard and find the hardest version of that job
And
and
do
I'll
that.
do that and do that.
Yes, it's so exciting. Which is like it fell into my lap. So I'll give you guys kind of my villain multiples origin story. My first consult as an IBCLC was triplets. And I mean, if you talk about being thrown into the like, okay, so y'all know I was so pressed when I became an IBCLC, where I was like, oh man. I found out when I was like standing in Five Guys, I was having the worst like week of my life. And so I was standing in Five Guys, like just feeding my face, and I got the notification. I was like, yes. So I immediately, as soon as I got home, updated my website, right? Everything says IBCLC. I changed it over. I'm like, yeah. In fact, I had my website built to like switch the pages over. So like I copied the homepage, updated it, and then it went live. And I had someone go on there and it was January 3rd and book a consult. Well, the only consults I had on there were basic ones because who just thinks that they're going to be saying, multiples out the gate. And a doula friend called me and was like, hey, one of my clients, scheduled a consult, but she didn't see a space to put everything in there. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, just have her email it over to me. It's fine. She's like, okay, great, because these babies really need your help. And I was like, that's interesting. Okay, whatever. And then I didn't think about it. So I was on my way to the consult and I got there and it was triplets. And I was like, this is great. This is great. So yeah, that's
Way to jump in the deep end.
Just out of the frying pan into the fire. Just like, okay, you know what? Yeah. So yeah. And then so here where I live in Chesapeake, Virginia, in Norfolk, Virginia, we actually have something called EVMS, Eastern Virginia Medical School, and they have something called the Jones Institute. And the reason why that's important is because they're the home of the first IVF baby, successful IVF transfer and birth of babies in all of the nation, right? So back in the day. So everybody comes here to have their multiples. Even my husband and I had like visited the clinic and everything like that before. But we were scared because we were like, we won't mess around and have like quadruplets. And so people come here specifically for that. And then you get a lot of military families kind of coming through and coming and going. So they'll be here and they'll be getting their stuff. But ironically, the two sets of triplets that I've had have been naturally conceived. So I don't know. Yeah. But a lot of my twins are definitely coming from the institute. So yeah.
So even from that early, you were like, I'm all about this, not like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified.
Well, no, I was terrified, but I was like, I'm already here and they've already paid the invoice. Oh, you know what?
I just got to do it.
It was a doula friend, right? So she's bigging me up. She's like, oh my gosh, I love Nichelle. Like she's an IBCLC, but even when she was at CBS, she was great. She was great. Oh, I love you. And I just walk and I'm just like, hi, this is great. So back then I was not fully paperless. Okay. I was balling on a budget and I had my scale and my Rip It bag and some nitrile gloves. And that's all I had. I had Annie's form printed out on a clipboard, right? Like I had a bedazzled clipboard and everything. And I had only printed out one visit record. And so I was sitting there and I was like, I didn't even have an iPad. I had my big old school MacBook, right? So I was struggle bus and there was no charting Heidi free to help me out. So it was like a factory. I had scheduled 2 hours, allotted 2 hours for the visit. I was at those people's house for like 5 hours. It was crazy. Luckily, I didn't have anything else to do that day. So, but yeah, it was completely insane. Yeah. Yeah, I love my little baby. So that was my first set. They were actually 2 boys and a girl. The boys were identical, and they were a military family. Dad was a pilot. Him and mom had met. They were older in age. Mom was 43 when the babies were born. And they had tried to have kids. They couldn't. And so they had just kind of resolved, like, okay, we're not. And then, it's our last time trying. And then they got pregnant with triplets. And so she just, because they were military, they were in the process of moving and she just had like no plan. Like she was just like, I'm going to doula, I'm going to lactation professional. I'm just trying to move. They were coming from like Japan. So I'm trying to move, back to the country, to the US. And it's just insane. So the twins were born early, of course. I mean, triplets were born early. I believe they were born at 32 weeks. 32 weeks. And then they ended up coming home in a trickle effect. So not every triplet came home at the same time, which is why she needed some help because not baby A, I think baby B came home first. Baby B comes home, it gets cleared, everything's great. And she's breastfeeding baby B and everything is great. It is phenomenal. She's doing her thing. She's co-sleeping. She's living the life. Well, then baby C comes home. And then, it gets a little tricky. And then baby A came home and hit the fan after that. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this. And she just was like, she would literally sit in the bed and the doula and the husband would just go in between and feed a baby, feed a baby, feed a baby. So it was kind of crazy. Baby B had the best suckling skills, of course. And baby A was a little bit of a struggle. So I met them once they were all home, and baby A had been home for about 48 hours. And mom had mastitis. Things were just not going. Yeah, baby A wasn't emptying. And she really had no method to the madness. She wasn't like, if she started with B and C, letting A start first next. She just was like winging it. And this story kind of comes to like a peak where as I'm there, I told you I was there like 5 hours. Her symptoms of mastitis get worse and worse and worse. So we get her into the bathtub and it's just like, first of all, this is my first consult at the IBCLC. This woman is literally like stark naked in her bathtub. Her husband's holding two of the babies. The doula's holding one baby. And it was a holiday weekend. So with the military, when there's like a holiday weekend, like let's say the Monday is a holiday, they get something called a 96-hour liberty, where Friday is also a day off. So they get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Even the Naval Hospital. So all they had on staff was like emergency room people, and the OB, like labor and delivery, was like minimal. And so she's calling, so she can't get an IBCLC from the hospital on the phone. She can't get anybody on the phone from the NICU, and struggling. And so she's literally in her tub, and I roll up my scrubs. First console as an IBCLC, like literally first console ever, triplet. And I roll up my scrubs and I like put my feet in the tub and I'm literally like hand expressing her in the jacuzzi tub. And it is insane. If I had the picture, her husband took a picture because of course he wanted to laugh. But if I had a picture, it was just the most chaotic situation ever. And so we stripped the babies down and let them latch in the water. And that's kind of how we stayed for like the last 2 hours, just kept adding warm water to the tub. But yes, it was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the most insane story I've ever heard.
I love that that's
not
even the triplet story that we told people they're going to hear. That's like, we get a bonus. It's like, surprise, it's 2 triplet stories.
It's 2 triplet stories. Yeah. So I've had 2 triplets in my career. And I've had 19 twins. So bringing me, little multiple whisperer somewhere around 21, because I know I can't add. That's not what my degree is in. But so my second set of triplets was last year, 2024. And it was actually a repeat client. had helped her with her older baby. She's like, hey, she's a nurse and labor and delivery nurse. And she's like, hey, I'm pregnant again. I'm like, oh my gosh, congratulations. She was like, I need to get with you as soon as possible. I'm like, okay, cool. And so she's like, yeah, because it's triplets.
If you enjoyed that snippet, the good news is that deeper dive was recorded. And by joining our membership community, you can have access to that deeper dive as well as our entire vault of deeper dives going back through 2020. You will also be automatically invited to our live monthly deeper dives, so you can ask the experts directly all the questions you want to know about that topic. We look forward to seeing you at our next deeper dive.